1 second until my recorder starts.
Stephanie.
All right.
I'm double mic. Can you hear me? So, welcome to the Kennedy Space Center. This is an exciting time for space flight. We have so much going on. It's absolutely unbelievable. And this flight on Saturday, this cements who we are and what we are, and that is a multi-user spaceport. Everything that we have planned and put into place is coming to reality when we launch off Pad 39A. You know, at the end of the shuttle program, we evaluated what facilities we needed to support the Space Launch System in Orion to explore beyond our home planet. And if we didn't need it, we were going to get rid of it, all right, because we couldn't afford to maintain it. And then we looked at, well, what of those facilities will support and enable commercial operations at the Cape? We identified them. And then if it wouldn't support SLS or commercial ops, we got rid of it, got it off our books to lower our costs and become more efficient. Pad 39A, we didn't need it. With Pad 39B that you see out there, which is almost complete now, we're completing the environmental control system and the flame bricks and the flame deflector in the flame trench. With that pad, one high bay in the vehicle assembly building, one mobile launcher and one crawler transporter, we can support 3 flights a year on SLS. So Pad 39A would have just sat out there and rusted away in the salt air. Instead, we went out, sought sources, who's interested, what commercial companies want it, and through competition, we awarded it to SpaceX, and they've got a 20-year use agreement on it. And now, we've got commercial ops off Pad 39A, supporting cargo to the International Space Station on Saturday. Even more importantly to me, supporting commercial crew, flying crews to the International Space Station off Pad 39A on a U.S. rocket in the United States, along with Boeing, right over here. You see the logo on what used to be Orbiter Processing Facility 3, a competition for services to fly crews to the space station. Boeing, of course, using right over here on Pad 41, the Atlas V, and if you look out there, you can see the crew access tower out there. So we have transformed. I mean, it's visible everywhere around the Kennedy Space Center. A vibrant space program for the Space Coast, for America, for humanity. Exploring beyond our home planet, enabling commercial operations, and then don't forget about Blue Origin over here in Exploration Park. More opportunity coming to the Cape as we enable commercial operations, utilize the resources that we have in the best way possible to ensure America stays a leader in space. I couldn't be more pleased. Right now, we're still waiting for word from the FAA that they have a launch license for tomorrow. Latest weather says 70% go Saturday and Sunday. We'll see how that all works out. The flight readiness review for SpaceX is 11 o'clock today, and we'll get a final weather update this afternoon, see how things look for tomorrow. But so far, everything's tracking. They had a successful hot fire last Sunday. Payloads are loaded. The Dragon capsule is attached to the rocket. We're getting ready for late stow out there at the pad. So I think we're on track. We just need them to come through with that launch license for the launch. With that, before I turn it over to Tom Engler, I'll take any questions that you all might have. Yes, sir.
I get a question. Talking about sending humans beyond Earth, SLS and Orion. Administrator Bob Lightfoot, acting administrator, just announced maybe we're going to send EM1 to the moon with a crew. What can you tell us about
Robert tasked Bill Gerstenmaier to pull together a team to do a study to see if it's feasible to accelerate and bring crew onto EM1. What the impacts of that would be, how we will be able to do that. So I look forward to the team. I have somebody from KSC on that team. He's pulled it together. The announcement of that team should be coming out probably today, and we'll take a look and see if we can't get Mr. Lightfoot an answer by March on whether or not that's feasible or not.
March. Thank you.
All right? Yeah.
So with moving all these assets to this company and getting all these leases, how much of your costs come down and how much money have you brought in by bringing these companies?
So it's not always a matter of bringing in, okay? A lot of it are opportunity costs. It's money that we're not spending. So therefore it's a savings by not having to maintain all these facilities. And it's also an opportunity in enabling commercial operations. Most of the agreements that we have, if it's a commercial space launch agreement, they pay directly for the services that they use. We're not trying to make money on it, all right? There are some agreements that we have through enhanced use lease where we're actually paid for the utilization of the services, but in many cases, it's just an opportunity loss. It's us enabling commercial operations, helping get cargo to the International Space Station, crews to the space station. So it's definitely a savings. It allows us not to have to maintain these facilities, and they still provide access for commercial companies to allow space operations here at the Cave. So it's an outstanding partnership, and there are various types of agreements. You can talk to Tom Engler more when he comes up and tells you about our transformation here to be a multi-user spaceport, but I couldn't be more proud of what this team has accomplished. We set our goals out, 5-6 years ago and laid out what we wanted to be, and through an iterative process, we've made everything that we wanted to happen. Hasn't happened as quickly as I would have liked, but this team has done an absolutely outstanding job getting the best benefit for the United States, and it's outstanding. Couldn't be more pleased.
It appears that all your partners right now are American companies. Are you open to, and have you been soliciting partnerships with companies located outside the United States?
Right now, we're just soliciting U.S. companies. Now, Space Florida, also, we have agreements with them to commercialize the shuttle landing facility. They're the ones that we have the agreement with in Exploration Park to utilize the land here at KSC to bring companies in. I know they've been talking to some companies outside the United States, but they would be U.S. subsidiaries working here. All right, I'm gonna turn it over to Tom Engler. Tom is the director of my commercial planning and development office, and his team has just done an outstanding job with all these agreements, and we'll let him tell you a little bit more.
Thanks, Bob. So I always like to take folks into the Wayback Machine to 7 years ago as a center. We were winding down the shuttle program, Constellation had just been canceled, and we were actively trying to understand what our future would be here at Kennedy Space Center. Bob and Janet Petro laid down the challenge to us to become that multi-user spaceport, and then gave us the tools we needed to go enable that. One of the first things we had to do was create the master plan, which is shown here on the right. It's in process of being finalized. It's been approved, and the environmental work's been done, and so now we're waiting on the final signature up at headquarters, but it's effectively approved right now. And that allowed us to go ahead and begin the transformation to the multi-user spaceport that we've become. So as we come into the present, if you look at, I'm going to give you the punchline right now, which is we've gone from that kind of reality to where we were to where we are now, that we have 4 active human spaceflight programs here at Kennedy Space Center at this point in time. Orion, SpaceX, Boeing, and now Blue Origin, that are all going to be within the next few years taking humans to space. If you put that in context of the history of human spaceflight, only 3 countries have ever flown humans into space: U.S., Russia, and China. So if you think about